Every Thursday morning at this time, we bring you Olsen on Law. Alan Spector here, joined by veteran Orlando attorney Tom Olsen. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Alan.
You know, the past few weeks, we've been following all of these lawsuits and legal challenges to the presidential election results, and we had more developments this week. A couple on Tuesday, one involving the U.S. Supreme Court, the other something called Safe Harbor Day, which arrived.
Exactly. Safe harbor is defined by, and this happened last Tuesday, is defined by the last day that anybody can challenge a election, state election results, either because of audit or recount. So no more state legal actions can be filed as of last Tuesday.
All right. Now, we had this Pennsylvania lawsuit. Which the U.S. Supreme Court very briefly, tersely, decided not to consider.
So the U.S. Supreme Court decided they would not hear that case, not hear the appeal from the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. That case involved the changing of how votes were done in Pennsylvania, including a lot of mail-in ballots. And basically, the United States Supreme Court said that if they wanted to challenge it, if the Republican administration wanted to challenge it, that challenge needed to be done before the election. That lawsuit was actually filed after the election, and that's why the Supreme Court seems to not have heard it. It seems like all the justices heard this potential appeal, including our new Justice Barrett, and none of them filed a dissent or recused themselves, so it seemed to be unanimous. The United States Supreme Court feels like the ruling in the Pennsylvania Supreme Court was good and valid, and it's going to stand.
Tom, do you think this is an indication that maybe the U.S. Supreme Court doesn't want to touch anything to do with the election?
I think that that's no doubt, Alan, but there's one more U.S. Supreme Court that's coming up, and that was the case that was filed Tuesday by the Texas Attorney General trying to invalidate the election results in Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And per Trump's own Twitter feed, this is the big one. 17 states have filed an amicus brief with that in support of the Texas Attorney General's case, trying to invalidate the state's elections in those 4 states. And if that was successful, and this will go before the Supreme Court if they'll take it, Biden would have less than 270 electoral votes, and that would leave the election results up to our U.S. Congress.
And let me ask you, the fact that 17 states are involved in this, originally it was Texas, and then they were joined by others, including Florida. Does that have any impact on the U.S. Supreme Court when they're looking at what case to take or not take?
I think it has. It really is just to inform and to make the justices knowledgeable about what all the issues are. So certainly it has some weight depending on how good their legal arguments are. Our Attorney General, Ashley Moody, has joined on that amicus brief. And so I think the courts will take that into consideration. Certainly they're going to read those amicus briefs, and it may have something to do with whether or not they take this case. But once again, for the U.S. Supreme Court, it'd be easiest for them to not hear this case and let the election results stand. And that's probably what they would most like to do.
Yeah, and I've seen at least one legal expert who said he thought the fact that Texas is filing this lawsuit on behalf of other states is not really a valid case.
You know, it's hard to believe that Texas would have standing to challenge election results in 4 states other than Texas. So I think that that's going to be a hard hurdle to get over in and of itself, Alan. I would have to agree with you.
Yeah, now we are just, 4 days away from the Electoral College meeting and casting their votes for President of the United States. So it's been very interesting. We'll continue to follow it. Tom, thanks so much. Every Thursday morning, again, it's Olsen on Law here on Good Morning Orlando, right about 8:40. And Tom, you'll be back on Saturday on News Radio WFLA Orlando with Olsen on Law, answering listeners' legal questions at 1 p.m.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you, Tom. And remember, for all of your legal needs, call the Olsen Law Group in Orlando.